can't bend. Y'all be playing it safe and I be going for the win. Remember back when they was doubting on the kid. Now they tuned in cause my game too legit.
Fantasy Headliners Nation. Headliner Nation. Fantasy Headliners for the nation. I'm a headliner. I'm a headliner.
Yo. Analytics off the chain, all the channels not the same. Jake and Kyle, you know the name. Headliner Nation, we running the game. Y'all stuck on third down. Your content's plain Jane. Headliners on top now. We gonna move and change. Podcast off the rip. Draft guide, so legit. Fantasy world, our game tight. You know we about that chubb life. Stuck in a rut and you need some motivation. Head to the channel for this Headliner Nation.
I'm a headliner.
What is going on, nation? Woo! Woo! Kalafa and Josh in the chat first today to hang out and, chill. Do stuff. All right. So what are we going to do today? We are going to talk a little Dynasty, a little big picture. We're going to talk big picture. It's not going to be all Dynasty focused, but it's going to have a little Dynasty / redraft kind of mixed into it, because I kind of want to go through and talk about some aging players and try to kind of figure out who are some guys that we need to be investing in still. Terry Hudak becoming a member for the 4th straight month. I'm getting a call. I don't know from who. Just 1 second. It was my daughter's school. I thought that was the number 2, and I was like, I probably need to pick this up real quick just in case. Alex Rice also becoming a member for this is the first I've seen a 21 months pop up in the chat. Alex becoming a member for the 21st month. Yo, love seeing the Dynasty stream here today. Let's go, headliners. Let's get it, baby. All right, hold on. I got to send a text message real quick now, too. Okay. Alex, appreciate it. 21 months. 21 months. So I want to do something kind of fun today. I don't know if you guys have seen other people do this, or maybe you've done it yourself, but we've got this website called Tier Maker. And on this website, it is going to have different tiers and lists that you can put together. What does the red mean? Lions 13-4 next year, Jalen. I like the way you think. I like the way you think, Jalen. Jalen, why is your name in red? Are non-members in red and members in green? I don't feel like that's been a thing. I feel like non-members have always been in white. Or maybe I just don't pay close enough attention anymore. So yeah, so we're going to do some tier making today. And we're going to go through this process and talk a little bit more about who are the guys that are still like elite level, guys that I don't care about their age, and I'm going to get you guys involved as well, all right? So get ready to help me make this tier list together. I'm not doing this on my own, all right? Y'all have to help me. So let's talk about it a little bit because I've already got some names on there, okay? Justin Jefferson, obviously number 1. Jamar Chase, obviously number 2. I mean, both of these guys are going to be inside the S tier, as I'm going to call it today, of tier maker. Okay. So the first one that comes up is AJ Brown. All right. AJ Brown. Are we keeping AJ Brown in the A tier at the age of 25? Or the S tier, excuse me, in the age of 25? I believe so. Seeing the development of Jalen Hurts this season and what they've done with that offense, I believe A.J. Brown deserves to be in the S tier still. Does everybody agree with that? Does everyone agree A.J. Brown is in the S tier? Not everybody answer it first. Mike agrees. Jalen agrees. Josh agrees. It looks like we're on the same page of this. A.J. Brown, 25 years old. Dynasty, he's an S tier. This coming year, we don't care about his age, right? He's not a guy that we're worried about. He's staying in the S tier. What about Tyreek Hill? I think Tyreek Hill is an interesting one, right? Tyreek Hill, 28 years old. All right. We saw a great season from him this year. But if you were going into the off season this year in a dynasty format, Josh, you're going to have to talk to Tier Maker about that. I don't know why they're not updated. There's also some rookies that are not included as well that kind of threw me off. So we'll have to work our way through that. But it is what it is. Just want to do something a little different. So Tyreek Hill, is he still an S tier? Do we think at 28 years old, Hill is a guy that over the next 3 to 4 years definitely continues this production? The next 2 years even. And if you're in a dynasty league, you're trading for Tyreek Hill, not caring what the future could be. Because and I don't know how many of you out there like play in dynasty leagues, right? In a dynasty league, if you were to say, hey, I'm not great at wide receiver, I need wide receiver help, and someone said, well, I can offer you Tyreek Hill, but let's say they want like your first round picks in 2023 and 2024. Are you willing to give up 2 years of first round draft capital and potentially another player to bring in a guy like Tyreek Hill? I think we can all agree heading into 2023, we're fine with him. The age isn't worried, the offense, everything like that. But are we willing to give up multiple years of assets to bring in a guy like Tyreek Hill? Because he's going to cost that. He's going to cost that. He absolutely will in a dynasty league. He's a receiver that every team starts thinking they got a comp. I mean, Kansas City got caught doing that, right? They thought Mecole Hardman was the comp to Tyreek Hill. And that's part of the reason why they walked away from him. So I think we're all in agreement that he's kind of maybe in that middle tier. I agree. Mecole Hardman is not Tyreek Hill. I agree with that for sure. So a lot of you are saying that Tyreek Hill isn't worth 2 years of draft capital. So for me, then, he's not an S-tier player, right? Because you would give that up for Justin Jefferson. Yes. You'd give that up for Jamar Chase. Yes. You'd give that up for A.J. Brown. Yes. But if you won't give it up for Tyreek Hill isn't an S-tier wide receiver. He'd be an A. So, are we keeping Tyreek Hill as the S tier, or are we moving him to the A tier? Dogs, I don't know if you play in Dynasty leagues or not. To get big-time players, you got to give up draft capital. And multiple first-round picks are traded every single year in these leagues. So if you personally wouldn't give up 2 first-rounders, I absolutely get that. But in other leagues, you would have, you're going to have to give up multiple. So let's move Tyreek Hill to A. Let's move Tyreek Hill down to A. Because it sounds like we don't believe he's an S-tier wide receiver. He's an A-tier. He's a guy that we would like, but we're not willing to give up multiple year of assets to get him. Nick Swagrich is an S+++++ tier. Fight me about it. Nick, I'll fight you about it. Because you could have added one more plus. I'm kidding. Let's do this. Let's add a row here. We're going to do S to A. We'll put Tyreek Hill there. He's a guy that, we'll trade maybe a first and something else for, but we're not really looking to give up multiple years of assets. What about CeeDee Lamb? I think CeeDee Lamb is an interesting one. 23 years old, still super young. Cameron, we'll get there. Don't worry, we'll get there with some of these other players. We're going to work our way through all of this. We will get there. No worries, okay? We'll get there. We're going to go through more of these guys. I just kind of started it and was playing around with it a little bit. So I just started throwing some guys in there. But CeeDee Lamb, 23 years old. All right. Coming off a season in which he put together 107 receptions on 156 targets, career high 1,300 receiving yards, career high 9 touchdowns. CeeDee Lamb is interesting to me because I definitely believe CeeDee Lamb is an S-tier talent. I don't know if we've seen CeeDee Lamb's best yet. I don't know if we have. Does anybody agree with that? Does anyone agree with that? Because if we haven't seen his best yet, I believe he's an S tier, right? But if you feel like 1,309 is his best, then he's not S tier. Do we think if CeeDee Lamb was in a different offense, do we think CeeDee Lamb would be a top 3 wide receiver? I see some disagreeing here. AVP thinks he's an S tier. Cameron thinks he does. Trey doesn't believe he is. Dogs is in with the S tier. Tucker thinks we're looking at the SA tier a little bit more. Nick thinks he's an S tier. Jalen thinks he's S. So then the question becomes, is he an S? Is he an SA? Or is he an A? I do think there is some concerns about Mike McCarthy calling plays. I'm not going to lie to you all. I don't love that. Them getting rid of Kellen Moore, to me, was not a great idea. Is Kellen Moore a great offensive mind? I don't think so. but I think he's better than Mike McCarthy. I think Mike McCarthy gets in his way too much. It also is going to depend on, do they say, hey, we're going to stick with Michael Gallup as the 2? Do they bring back Dalton Schultz? Dalton Schultz is going to be an unrestricted free agent. What happens with our boy Tony Pollard? Cameron still saying S. Josh doesn't like him calling plays either. So then this comes back to my question. So if you're in a dynasty league and you're in a win now mode, you've got a team that you believe in 2023 can win it all, but you need an upgrade at wide receiver. You need a guy, a top guy. Would you give up multiple year assets and younger players to get CeeDee Lamb? Would you say that CeeDee Lamb's trade value is the same as Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and A.J. Brown? Jesse, I was down in Florida for a week. You know, I wouldn't be surprised by a little tan. So Cameron, you think he's S tier, but you wouldn't give up the same to get him as you would the other guys, right? See, I'm making you all think, right? I'm making you all think. So should we make another tier that's just titled Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase? Okay. We're thinking a little bit. We're using our brains today, and I love that. And this is, I mean, this is how we do things. So I feel like people also believe, I'm seeing these comments, Lamb over A.J. Brown. The LSU boys deserve their own tier. Let's do that then. We're going to make a new tier here, and it's going to be called JJ, and Chase. This sounds like, JJ and Chase sounds like a cop show of two like old detectives that just always find themselves like messing things up at the very beginning and then coming out at the very end and being like the heroes. Like all the younger guys are making fun of them. JJ and Chase. I feel like I should definitely give that. Okay. So we're going to put JJ and Chase in their own tiers. And then we're going to have A.J. Brown and we're going to have CeeDee Lamb into the S tier. How do we feel about that? Are we feeling good about this? Are we liking what we see here? Because we're going to have... Now the question is... Ryan, don't worry about the guys we haven't talked about yet. Don't worry. We're going to go through multiple guys, okay? Don't worry about everybody. I didn't put everybody on the list yet. Okay. Cameron, we said that we were putting Tyreek Hill in SA a little bit ago because we didn't feel that we would want to give up the same assets. All right, so now we want to move Tyreek Hill up to the S tier. All right, so are we saying, okay, so do we say that A.J. Brown and CeeDee Lamb and Tyreek Hill are on the same plane? Now remember, A.J. Brown is 25. CeeDee Lamb is 23. Tyreek Hill is 28. So do we really believe, if we're thinking long term, again, we're making a tier of the next several years, of the next like 3 years minimum. Honestly, when I play Dynasty, I play in 3-year windows. If I'm in win now and I trade for a player, I want to get a guy that is going to be good for me for the next 3 years. We're judging current and future potential. AVP is correct. We want to know, are they going to help us extensively in 2023, and will we be able to stick with that guy for multiple years afterwards? So let's take a vote. Let me know in the chat. Tyreek Hill, is he the S tier or SA tier? Let me hear it. I think one thing that we need to keep in mind too, if you want to talk about A.J. Brown, he has Devante Adams. Or not Devante, excuse me, Devante Smith. Tyreek Hill has Jalen Waddle. CeeDee Lamb doesn't have anybody. All right, Jalen wants SA. Alex wants SA. Josh, Ray voting SA. Dogs is voting S. AVP is AS. Mike is saying SA. Dogs is saying S still. Salone is saying, I've got your look. CD and AJ Brown in the S tier. Tyreek Hill goes in SA. Dogs doesn't agree with any of us. Dogs is like, I want Tyreek Hill in the S tier. What are y'all doing? Dogs, I feel like you're the old man telling us to get off your lawn right now. Okay. What up, Rory? Isaiah, I had an awesome trip. All right. So we're going to leave Tyreek Hill SA. We're going to leave Tyreek Hill SA. We're going to leave him right there. So then my guess is that everyone is going to say Stefan Diggs goes to the SA tier. Is that correct? Are we going to move Stefan Diggs to the SA tier? Stefan Diggs, 29 years old, so he's a year older than Tyreek Hill. Still coming off of a good season. 1,429 receiving yards. I don't know if any of you know this or not, but this is the second highest receiving total ever in Diggs' career. He also scored 11 touchdowns this season. I don't know if you all know this, but that is a career high for Stefan Diggs. Okay? Ben, you're good. You didn't miss much. We're just ranking wide receivers right now. So Stefan Diggs, we're leaving him in the SA, right? I think we all can pretty much agree that Stefan Diggs and Tyreek Hill are right here. Ben with the gifted membership. Ben, appreciate you. Thanks so much for sharing the love with the headliner community. Cameron is going to get that gifted membership. Cameron, make sure you thank Ben for the gifted membership. Give him the love tonight. $108 receptions. Second most in his career. Supreme. Forehead kisses. So I think we're all, okay, so we're all in agreement. There's not much for us to say here. If we're looking at like a 3-year window, Stefan Diggs is an SA tier. I don't think so at all. I don't think he's going anywhere. All right. So let's talk about a name that has been brought up a couple of times now. I believe this is Devontae Parker. Devontae Parker. Jeez Louise. Devontae Smith, Devontae Parker, Devontae Adams. Is Devontae Adams going into the SA tier then? Is Devontae Adams going into the SA tier? The one problem with Devontae Adams right now is he doesn't even have a quarterback. He's also 30 years old. So is he an SA or an A tier? I think if you're looking at Devontae Adams, even his 2023 is very clouded right now. His 2023 is even clouded right now. Now, let me ask you guys this. Let's go into critical thinking mode a little bit. We're gonna go down two different roads here. We're gonna go down two different roads here with Devontae Adams. So let's think about it for a second. Let's think about it. Road number one, to the right. The Las Vegas Raiders decide to make a trade. They come up in the draft and they get themselves one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the draft. Stroud could be one of them. I don't know if Bryce Young makes it there. I still think Bryce Young. My mind is, let me just say this. Digging into Bryce Young and CJ Stroud a little bit more, I'm starting to like CJ Stroud just as much, if not more, than Bryce Young. I just want you all to know that, okay? So if we were to go down the road where they draft one of the top quarterbacks, Young, Stroud, Levis, whoever it might be, and we know that he's going to be the quarterback for Devontae Adams for the next 3 years, is he SA or A tier? Jalen, you're thinking all the way up to the S tier, so you're saying that the value of Devontae Adams for the next 3 years is the same as A.J. Brown and CeeDee Lamb. Or are we going to put him in SA because of the age and the time frame in which wide receivers kind of start to fall down? I'm seeing some A tiers here. I'm seeing some A tiers. Cameron thinks he's SA. Ben brings up a good point. You wouldn't give up a first round for Devontae Adams, but you might for Amon-Ra St. Brown. We'll get to St. Brown here in a second. So for Devontae Adams, we know he's going to have an established quarterback then for the next 3 years. It's a top draft prospect. Who are we leaving him in SA then? So here's my other question then. Road to the left. Let's say the Las Vegas Raiders go down the road to the left. Okay? And we're headed down that road now, and we say, all right, we're not going to draft anybody. What if they bring in an Aaron Rodgers or a Tom Brady? Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady at the ends of their careers. Tom Brady a little bit more than Aaron Rodgers probably. But Aaron Rodgers, obviously, over the last couple of years, have made comments about being done. Okay? So Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady. What if it's an older quarterback over the next 3 years? See you later, Ray. Are we looking at S or SA? Or excuse me, SA or A? I feel like regardless, it feels like we're kind of in an agreement. You hate when people change your mind. Don't hate that, Salone. That's not a bad thing. So are we leaving Devontae Adams in the SA tier? I feel like this is going to be a lot easier with running backs. Maybe not. And we'll do those on Thursday. Or maybe not. Jake might be doing the live stream on Thursday. I don't know. I'm not sure. So are we in agreement Are we in agreement? Devante Adams in the SA tier. Which means that we would be basically needing top 15 at least, if not higher, potential from him over the next 3 years into his age 33 season. I mean, if Dr. Alvin Schwansky, PhD, is saying A tier, who am I to argue with a doctor unless it's Dr. Ethan Turner? Dr. Ethan Turner, I'll argue with all the time. I think the SAs have it right now. I think a majority of everybody, the majority vote right now is SA. I think that's the majority vote right now. Is anybody's vote differently? Just type it in the chat. SA or A. Just give me the letters for the next 3 years. Cameron is SA. Ben is A. AVP is A. SA for Alex. SA for Kenny. A for Josh. SA for Zach. SA for Nick. Right now the SAs have it. SA for Jalen. It looks like the SAs have it. Alvin's going A. Dr. Alvin is going with A. Ethan's here. What up, Ethan? Rory's going with SA. All right. We're going to leave Devante Adams in SA then. Right there. Locked in. Let's talk about Jalen Waddle now. Is there anyone else that I want to include first? I think we're good with going to Jalen Waddle. Let's go to Jalen. Actually, you know who would be a good one to talk about? Cooper Kupp. I'm just going to drop him here real quick. Let's talk about Cooper Kupp first. Let's talk about Cooper Kupp first. Awful injury to end the year. Kupp is age 29 right now. He's 29 years old. He's got Matthew Stafford as his quarterback for at least another year. Stafford, he's a guy that just can't stay healthy. Do we value him in the S tier or the SA tier? We're not putting Cooper Kupp in the God tier. You would rather have Kupp over A.J. Brown. Okay. Ben. So many people. An essay on his opinion. These are not, and again, we're not putting these guys in individual ranks. So just because I have Hill, Diggs, Adams, and Kupp doesn't mean they're being ranked in that order. This is tiers only. This is tiers only, okay? Only tiers. We're not putting people in individual rankings right now. Zach, yeah, Stafford might not stay as quarterback. He's a Kupp knows what he's doing on the field. But let me ask you all this. If Matthew Stafford were to go down with another injury next year and then Baker Mayfield is Cooper Kupp's quarterback, how are we feeling about that? Deshaun, Rashad White, or Ayuk? It depends on what you need. I would say Rashad White probably is your best bet. Ayuk is going to be going into like a potential tagging coming up here. Ben is giving a, bringing great points here, okay? Do you pay the 1.12 in a 12-team Superflex half PPR for Kupp? If yes, S tier. If no, SA tier. I don't see how, if we're going to say a guy like Stefan Diggs with Josh Allen and a year younger than Cooper Kupp is an SA tier, I would like to see how we could make an argument to put Cooper Kupp above him. Dogs, I get what you're saying. I feel like you're looking at this, though, with a very redraft-focused mindset. Because if you're looking at a dynasty perspective and you're looking long-term, you're not going to want to give up a ton of assets for a 29-year-old wide receiver coming off an ankle surgery with a quarterback that can't stay healthy, when you could go with a 25-year-old wide receiver with a younger quarterback that are going to be tied to each other for the next several years. A.J. Brown just got paid. He just got paid. Jalen Hurts will get paid this offseason. Jalen Hurts, the 2020 class is up for extensions this year. That's going to be coming up in a video here pretty soon in the next week or so. Okay? So I get what you're saying, dogs. I understand what you're saying, but I feel like you're very focused on the 2023 portion of it, though. Zach Diggs doesn't have attitude problems. He was frustrated at the end of a game in which he felt that they should win. That's it. I mean, part of the reason that we're knocking Devante Adams too, right, is because the uncertainty at the position. We don't know who his quarterback is going to be for the next 3 years. I feel like we have to say the same thing about Cooper Kupp. We don't know who his quarterback's going to be. Yes, it's Matthew Stafford right now, but Stafford's back is screwed. Like, the dude, unfortunately, I feel like does not have very many years left in the league. So I do feel like when we look at this in terms of long-term value, Cooper Kupp has to go SA. So that's kind of my thought there. I get that Cooper Kupp is very good. Don't get me wrong there. But I just think if we're going to knock Devante Adams and Stefan Diggs for certain things, we've got to knock Cooper Kupp for them as well. And Cooper Kupp has been... Now keep this in mind too, ladies and gentlemen. This is just me throwing out things to get us thinking, right? This is just me. So, Cooper Kupp is very, very good, right? Yes. But here's the thing. When you talk about Cooper Kupp in comparison to a Stefan Diggs or a Devante Adams or a Tyreek Hill, I mean, coming into last year when he had 1,900 receiving yards, Cooper Kupp had only had one 1,000 receiving yard season. He had never caught 100 passes in a season. We've seen better for longer from Devante Adams and Stefan Diggs. Again, before the 2021 season, we didn't see 1,947 receiving yards. He had 1,161 in 2019. You could make an argument. That he may have reached there in 2020, but not necessarily guaranteed. Well, I don't think we want to put him in the A tier because they can still kind of have that elite potential, right? The A tier for me would be a guy that is good, but not really the elite potential that we would kind of want from some of these other players. I would not put Kupp in the A category. I wouldn't. I would say he's SA still. But again, kind of going back to that argument, when you take a look at what other guys have done, when you take a look at Stefan Diggs, for instance, right? Stefan Diggs has 5 straight 1,000 yard receiving seasons. Five straight seasons of 1,000 or more receiving yards for Stefan Diggs. So we've seen him do it better for longer. Okay? When you take a look at a guy like Devante Adams, Devante Adams has 4 of his last 5 years with 1,000 receiving yards. And the 1 year that he didn't have it, he had 997 receiving yards in only 12 games. He definitely would have had 1,000 receiving yards in that year. That may have ended up being his best year ever. He did that in 12 games. He also had 997 receiving yards in 2016 and 16 games. Cooper Kupp has 2 1,000 receiving yard years. That's it. Now, he probably would have had another this year, so we could argue it would have been 3. But Stefan Diggs and Devante Adams have more 1,000 receiving yard seasons in the last 4 years than Cooper Kupp does in his entire career. I'm just saying, okay? I want to get you guys thinking. All right? So if you're wanting to put Cooper Kupp over a Devante Adams and a Stefan Diggs, you're really, really going to have to prove it. Because nothing about Cooper Kupp screams put him over these two guys. Now for 2022, I absolutely did have him over those guys. And he would have had another fantastic season had he not gotten hurt. But if we're looking at this from a long perspective, Cooper Kupp goes SA. That would be mine. Because again, the SA category is for these older wide receivers that can still put together elite seasons, but are going to take a dip in value because their age is higher. Because they're older than an A.J. Brown or a CeeDee Lamb. Okay? So there you go. I think leaving him SA is perfect. I think leaving him SA is perfect. I'll give anybody a shot. One more shot to argue why we move Cooper Kupp up to the S, and then we'll vote for sure. I'll open it up for the next 30 seconds. If you'd like to cast your vote now, if you have no closing arguments, then put S or SA for Cooper Kupp. And we'll move on to the next one. Yeah, BS could be dinosaur. Dogs is still voting S. Ethan SA. Kenny SA. Ben is SA. Nick is SA. Sage over 28 from Cameron. SA for Caleb. Zach wants F or S. Alex Rice wants SA. Dogs, in football, 30 gets to be old. And in football, absolutely, around age 30 is when you're going to start seeing a dip in production 90% of the time. 90% of the time. I'm 35, so I don't think in human years I'm all that old. Nope, scratch that. I'm still only 34. That's frightening. But yeah. So, I think we go there then. I think we go there. I don't know why I created this other one, but I'm going to delete it. Let's talk Amon-Ra St. Let's talk Jalen Waddle first. Okay? So for Jalen Waddle, what are we doing with Jalen Waddle? Part of me believes he's the A tier because Tyreek Hill is clearly the number one option on that team. Yes, Jalen Waddle is younger. But over the next 3 years, I still think that Tyreek Hill would be the number one option over Jalen Waddle. Kane Allen must be in a nursing home then. He might pretty soon. Waddle stays in A. Alex believes. Cameron believes. I mean, Jalen Waddle's had a good start to his career. Um, 1,000 receiving yards in back-to-back seasons. Did score 8 touchdowns this year. Waddle's celebration is an S tier. That I could get on board with. It looks like all of us are agreeing that Jalen Waddle is an A tier. Dogs would like Waddle over A.J. Brown. I do believe he could be SA eventually. I do believe, but honestly, if we think Waddle is an SA, he goes to S for me. If Waddle comes back, so he had 1,300 receiving yards on 75 receptions and 8 touchdowns this year. Let's say he comes back next year and he has like 1,500 receiving yards with 80 receptions and 10 touchdowns. To me, then at that point, I'm skipping the SA tier in Dynasty for Jalen Waddle. He's going to S for me at that point. If he comes out next year and performs just as good as Tyreek Hill, or maybe even puts together a better season than Tyreek Hill, then Jalen Waddle skips the SA tier and he goes right to S. So for me, for right now, he's more of an A because he might not necessarily be that alpha type of wide receiver that we would need week in and week out. If we're trading for a Jalen Waddle, I don't know if we're giving up the same type of draft capital as we would for an A.J. Brown or a CeeDee Lamb. The Waddle's better than the gritty. I think the consistency is good in SA. I do believe that. Gabe Davis didn't have that bad of a year. He was just inconsistent. So for me, I think Waddle is another year away from being an S tier. I think we have to see 2023. He's 24 years old. Jalen Waddle's older than CeeDee Lamb. He's 24 years old. To me, it kind of depends on what happens this year. Right now, to me, it's like he's an A, and then we move him up to S if he gets to that point a little bit later on. See, the reason, and kind of going back, AVP, why I don't want to put him in SA is because if we're looking at a 3-year window right now, okay, I will pay differently for Jalen Waddle than I will for the 3 wide receivers above him. But if we really feel that he provides elite production, he goes to S. He doesn't go to SA, he would go to S. If we really feel like Jalen Waddle will provide elite production over the next 3 years, he's only 24 years old. He goes to S. Okay? Because SA are guys that provide elite production, but we're worried about them starting to kind of take that downward trend because of their age. Jalen Waddle, we're not worried about that. If we really feel that he is top production, an elite wide receiver, he's got to go straight to S. There's no SA for me in Waddle here. It's either S or A. Kenny, I agree with that. That's why I'm kind of saying, to me, he feels like an A right now. And then if he comes out and just balls in 2023, has a equally productive, basically, season as Tyreek Hill, then we bump him up to the S tier. I don't know if I make a case for him in the S tier right now. One thing that does worry me a little bit about Jalen Waddle is, yeah, he was a little big play dependent this year, right? We said that could happen, though. We went over that in the preseason, right? One of our things was maybe he loses out on some of the receptions, but the efficiency goes up. I mean, if you watched us in the preseason, you heard us say that time and time again. That's exactly what happened. His receptions dropped from 104 to 75, but his yards per reception went from 9.8 to 18.1. That's the only thing. It's like, if we're not getting 100 receptions a year from Jalen Waddle, can he really be an S tier? I think that's a question we got to ask ourselves. So, let's put it to a vote. Jalen Waddle, again, we're not putting him in the SA tier. We're not putting him in the SA tier because the age is not a factor. We're not worried about a cliff drop-off on Jalen Waddle. So the vote would be, are we putting him in S or are we putting him in A? If we don't feel that he can provide S tier performance, then he would be an A. If we feel like he is elite, then he's got to go to S. So let's vote. So we have A, S, S. So we're tied right now. S's and A's are tied. S. Jalen says S as well. S taking a little bit of a lead here. Any other votes? Any other votes? The S's have it right now. Rory says A. Not enough to close the gap. S still has it by 1. Mau says A. All right, now we're tied. Now we've got a tie. We need someone to break these ties here. We got 51 people watching right now. Type it in the chat. S or A? S or A? If you already voted, don't do it again. I don't want to count your vote twice. Lock it in. Help us make a decision here. Trying to get everybody involved. Having an interactive stream with you all. Daniel says A. Terry says A. I like that. Let's create a poll. I like that. All right, we've got a poll. Everyone vote. Let's see where we go with this. A tier's winning right now. A tier's winning with 64% of the votes. A tier 67, 62. Vote for me, vote for me. Where are we putting Jalen Waddle? A tier or S tier? SA is out of the question. Ooh, gaps close. 15 votes. A with a 53-47 lead. We had almost 50 people watching right now, and only 15 people have voted. Hit the vote button. A plus tier is not an option. A's are having it right now. 61% with 18 votes in. 61% with 18 votes in. We need at least 69. All right, I'm only going to give it about another minute or so before I end the poll. A is winning 61-39 with 18 votes right now. Also, answer me this. If you're watching currently and you're not voting, why? Unless you're Papa Rich. Papa Rich might be watching on his phone and doesn't know how to vote. I mean, it looks like the A's have it. We're going to leave him in A. 58% of the votes wanted to put him in A. So we're going to leave him in the A category. It's not a shot at Papa Rich. He understands. He knows. So we're leaving Jalen Waddle in the A category. So now here might be a more difficult one. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Is he S or A? Doomtar. Where do we put the Doomtar? Is he S or SA? Or not SA, excuse me. Is he S or A? I'm already seeing lots of S's. Several S's already. BC wants him above JJ and Chase. I don't know if we'll go that crazy. Oops, this is the wrong person. There we go. Everybody wants Amon-Ra St. Brown in the S. I think the one thing that is good about Amon-Ra St. Brown now is that we know Jared Goff is going to be his quarterback. Detroit has essentially said that we are committed to Jared Goff. They're probably going to have to be committed for the next 2 years, if I remember correctly, because they don't really have an out on the contract before that. So I would say he's probably got 2 years left, if I had to guess, at least. I think Jameson Williams is... he's not a huge concern for me. He doesn't have it's not as big as a concern for me as I think it is for some other people. So, Dan, yeah, if you can put up those numbers with Goff, you're S. I think one thing we need to remember, though, is that Goff had multiple top 12 wide receivers with him in Los Angeles. So, Goff, I think, just gets such a bad rap, man. I think he does. I know he can be inconsistent at times. Down the stretch, he was really, really good this year. Yeah, I just think that we unfortunately kind of fall into... If you're a quarterback, it feels like if you're not great, if you're not Patrick Mahomes, if you're not Josh Allen, if you're not Joe Burrow, if you're not Justin Herbert, if you're not a quarterback where it's like, man, this guy can be really great, you're kind of just right? Like Derek Carr's been good. Derek Carr's been good for a while now. But nobody really looks at it like that because it's like, oh, he's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Josh Allen. One of my lights just went out. And I think that's what happens with Jared Goff is that he's not Patrick Mahomes. He's not Josh Allen. He's not Lamar Jackson. He's not Joe Burrow. Sorry, I had to replace my battery. So because of that, now you look at it and you say, well, Jared Goff just, I think that's just how the quarterback position is these days. Sounds like Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to the S. All right, let's pull it again. Let's pull it again. I'm just verifying. I just want, if there's somebody out there that maybe doesn't want to chat, that just wants to answer, just want to verify. Who do we want to do next? The young wide receivers are not on here, I don't think. I only know Doomtar. All right, I have time for one more quick one, and then I'm going to have to hop off, and we will continue this discussion later on. Everybody is agreeing Doomtar is going to be an S tier. We've got him placed there. Let's go with one more. I had T. Higgins on the board. Let's go with DK Metcalf. Where you at, DK? I thought he was on this first line. Here he is. He's right here. Let's go DK Metcalf. Great season. Great season with Geno Smith. I don't know how many of you saw that coming. DK Metcalf, 25 years old. 1,048 receiving yards this year, 90 receptions, a career high, 6 touchdowns. Obviously saw a drop in that production. Played all 17 games this year. He's only missed 2 games. Actually, no, he's never missed a game since coming into the league. DK Metcalf has never missed a game since coming into the league. Saw his most targets ever this past year. Saw a little bit of a drop in the yards per reception. He dropped the last couple of years. He went from 15.5 to 15.7, then a drop to 12.9, then a drop to 11.6. Career low in touchdowns, only 6 touchdowns this season. I think the big question here for DK Metcalf is who's going to be his quarterback. So let's hear it. Some arguments. I think DK is an S or an A. Which one do we think he is? Kenny says A. Yo, Zach, Anthony Richardson? Anthony Richardson could be really, really good. Anthony Richardson needs a year or two, though. We got an S from Zach. A from Kenny. A from Carlos. A from Moa. Moua. AVP thinks S. Nick's going A. Alex is going A. Yeah, if he starts at rookie, it might be rough. But that's why I think, like, re-signing Geno to, like, a 2-year deal and then drafting, like, an Anthony Richardson, I think could be a really good plan for Seattle. So I can get him at A. Jalen A, Terry A. Let's put it up on the poll because this one's going to be a close one. Let's put it up on the poll. All right. DK Metcalf, S or A? Let's put it up on the poll. Because I think this one is going to be really close. It looks like so far the A's do have it based on the comments. Now, obviously, that could change with the votes here. Also, I'm going to look into making one of my own of these so I can put the actual players that I need to in it. 12 votes. 75% say A to DK Metcalf. Let's get some more votes. 77% with 13 votes now. Well, Zach, I think it depends. I mean, we say that Waddle is a wide receiver 2. DK Metcalf might not be the wide receiver 2 on his team, but he's definitely in a 1A, 1B situation with Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett has been very good. You could also say that with Kenneth Walker, maybe they get back to running the football a little bit more next year. I mean, DK Metcalf, I think if we're having him and Waddle and A together, I think that makes sense, knowing that we don't have like an elite option at quarterback for DK right now. He does have the health upside. He has been healthy. Yep, absolutely. 15 votes in, 80% going with A on DK Metcalf. I think that's going to seal the deal there. I think that's going to seal the deal on DK Metcalf being an A. But, ladies and gentlemen, before I get out of here, I need you all to just leave me a quick comment. What did you think about this type of a stream? Not necessarily doing a little bit more like Dynasty, talking like long-term value on players, but what did you think about like being super interactive with you all, giving you a little bit of a voice here, helping me make the tier? I'm going to keep the tier. I'm going to keep this. I'm not going to get rid of it because I'm going to do another stream so we can keep going with the wide receivers. S-tier content, AVP. Listen, if we did a ranking of fantasy football channels out there, that JJ and Chase area that you see right there, that would be us. Let's just face it. It would be. It would 100% be us. AVP becoming a new member. AVP, welcome into Holden Chubb, the exclusive Headliner Nation family. Now, I was, as most of you know, I was gone on vacation last week, so that's the reason why we didn't really have too much members-only content. But I will get some stuff out for you soon. I got a couple of things in the works. I definitely have some more video breakdowns that I'm going to get out for this rookie class. Yeah, I've got things coming. I've got things coming for you all. So, but ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get out of here. I have a chiropractor's appointment. All those roller coasters threw my neck out. I'm going to go do that. And then I got to come back and I got to finish up the video for tomorrow. Get that over to Taylor so he can put his magic fingers all over it and touch it real good. And then, yeah. I really wanted to do a gaming stream tonight. I don't know if I will or not. We'll see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get out of here, though. Peace out. Have a great rest of your day. Hopefully you all enjoyed the content. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're sticking around watching all the content for us. And ladies and gentlemen, the number one absolute thing I ask all of you to do, hit the like button on every single piece of content that we put out. It helps a ton. Ladies and gentlemen, peace out. Stay safe and healthy, and I'll catch you all in the next episode of the Fantasy Headliners. Later, everybody.
When the game on the line, you can't fold and you can't bend. Y'all be playing this